Welcome to the TCM Academy of Integrative Medicine teaching module in researching TCM. I'm Dr. Noah Samuels. I'm an integrative physician working in the field of integrative oncology. And we'll be going through different aspects of researching TCM, learning the different methodologies for research, the different types of research, how to read research papers, how to search for research papers in the field of TCM, and finally talking about how you yourself can design a research project in TCM. Now, research in general and researching TCM in particular, it's very much like trying to describe to somebody who maybe has never seen or tasted an apple what an apple is. If they say to you, describe to me what an apple is, well, you can say, well, an apple comes in different colors. There are red apples, there are green apples, there are yellow apples. There are sour apples, like green apples or Macintosh. There are sweet apples, such as delicious apples, pink lady apples. There are different ways to prepare an apple or to eat an apple. You can eat it straight, you can cut it, you can slice it and dice it. You can make it into applesauce. The same is true for research in general and TCM research in particular. There are many different types of research. There are different ways to do this research. There are many different tools that are at your disposal that can help you cut the apple or do the research. At the end of the day, what really matters is that you take your teeth and you sink them into the apple. You try the apple or the applesauce. And the same is true for TCM research. This module will give you tools of the trade, will give you the skills that you need in order to understand what others have done so that you can read a research paper. You can search for the research that's out there, and there's a lot of research on TCM practices and modalities. By the end of this module, you'll be able to begin and design your own TCM research project. Who can learn from this teaching module? First and foremost, non-conventional healthcare professionals, such as TCM practitioners, whether you're doing acupuncture, herbal medicine, or other modalities, as well as other practitioners of non-conventional medicine, such as homeopaths, practitioners of mind, body, spiritual therapies, such as meditation, yoga. In this module, you'll learn about how treatments that you're practicing in your clinical setting, how they've been tested and shown to be effective using scientific methodologies, research and evidence-based medicine, and which can support what you see in your daily practice. The module is also intended for conventional healthcare professionals, whether physicians or nurses, nurse practitioners, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, psychologists, social workers. For this group of healthcare professionals, the module will help you understand the evidence behind the research of TCM, which supports certain modalities, not everything, but there's a lot out there that supports the use of TCM practices in conventional medical care. And in this way, you can see how these treatments can become part of your own clinical practice in an integrative medical setting. Finally, this teaching module is aimed at patients and caregivers, giving them the skills and knowledge which will enable them to make better and more informed decisions on the treatment that they're getting, whether conventional medicine or non-conventional treatments such as TCM. To quote Sir Francis Bacon, knowledge is power. And the skills that you will learn in this teaching module will give you the ability to increase your knowledge and understanding of the treatments that are out there, especially in the field of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. In this teaching module, we'll be covering a wide range of subjects related to the field of TCM research. We're going to be starting with the why. Why is it so important to conduct TCM research? And what are the implications with respect to patient care? And as the course progresses, you'll see that the uphill slope that you have to push this heavy boulder like Sisyphus becomes slightly lower and more gradual. And the process becomes a bit easier as we go through it. Sort of like learning about an apple. Okay? The more familiar you are with it, you see, it's not so terrible. We'll be acquiring tools of the trade. We'll be learning about research methods, the different types of research formats, the different stages of research, of clinical research, as well as basic medical statistics, which will really, really help you understand what you're reading when you read the findings of research. We'll also be learning how to read a research paper. You may have tried in the past to search for some information about a treatment and an indication, and you may have done a Google search and it sent you to a medical journal with an article, and you open the article and you say, this is so confusing, I don't even know where to begin. I don't know how to look at this paper. This makes no sense to me. It's Chinese to me. So during this teaching module, you'll acquire the skills and the knowledge which will enable you to look at the paper and know how to look at the different sections, the different parts, the title, the abstract, the text, the conclusions, so that you can get a better understanding of what was studied and what the findings are and what the implications are of the findings. We'll also be learning how to separate the wheat from the chaff, how to conduct an effective search of the literature, where to go, what are the good search engines which you can use to find information, because what's out there is sometimes so overwhelming. There's just so much information and you can get lost in it. So we'll be helping you during this teaching module to get to the crux of the matter, to get to the important research with the important findings that can help you in your daily practice. We'll also be covering the field of translational research, which really means basic research, laboratory findings with test tubes, microscopes, rats, and how these studies, this research, which we call the bench because it's a scientist sitting at the bench, they translate into the clinical research setting, what we call the bedside. And what's very interesting, in TCM research, we also do research the other way, in the other direction, from the bedside to the bench. We'll take treatments which have been in use for thousands of years, acupuncture, herbal remedies, and other therapies, and we'll take them back to the lab and see how these treatments work, what's the mechanism of action, how they impact human physiology and pathology. And finally, we'll be talking about how to design your own TCM research project, how to set up your own shop, how to think about what needs to be studied, how you're going to go about doing it, how you're going to write up your results, how you're going to get your paper published. So, welcome to the Researching TCM teaching module. We know that you'll learn a lot and you'll develop very, very important skills which will help you in your daily clinical practice.